Okay, we are on number 34. We're starting the day 3 of the review. This is long division to divide, so we've written him out for his long division, and we are starting now. So I said, what do you take times x to get 2x squared? And they said 2x, so I put 2x at the top, yeah? Then what do you do?
Multiply -3 times 2x.
Well, you start with the 2x times x. 2x times x is 2x squared. And then 2x times -3 is -6x. And now what?
Flip the signs.
Now you split the signs, so this becomes minus, that becomes plus. And those cancel. If they don't cancel, you did it wrong. -7x plus 6x is?
-x.
And then I drop my 4 down, and I begin again. So I start the process over. What do you take times x to get -x? -1. Now I multiply back through. -1 times x is -x. What's -1 times -3? Plus 3, and then I switch the sign. So that becomes plus, this becomes minus. The x's cancel. If they don't, you did it wrong. -4 minus 3 is -7. Then what?
-7 is your remainder.
Yeah, -7 is my remainder. So how do I write that? -7 over x minus 3. Okay, because it's -7. You could also put plus -7 if you wanted to, right? But I'm just going to do -7 over x minus 3. That is my whole thing. Yeah? Now, what's something I could do to see if that is correct?
Plug in 7.
No.
Plug in?
Plug in 3.
I'm dividing by x minus 3. If I plug 3 into here, what should I get?
7.
-7, right? Okay, that's how I can check my answer. I would really do that. That's not going to take too much time, right? If you plug 3 in, that's what you should get. Got it? Okay, that's my answer. All right, next one is synthetic division. It's the box upside down.
Oh, it's the upside down.
Okay. My numbers at the top are 2, -5, -8, and 15. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, what number goes on the outside?
3. Not negative.
3 or -3? If I set them equal to 0 and I add the 3 over, it should be a positive 3 on the outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, first step,
Multiply 3 times 2.
I
Drop 2 down.
drop the 2. Yep. Now I multiply 3 times 2 is 6, and it goes here. Then what?
-1.
Add them together.
Positive.
Positive 1. Now I multiply. And that is
-3.
3, and this guy is
-5.
-5. Then I multiply again.
-15.
-15. Oh, man.
Wow.
0. Zero remainder. That's so nice. Okay, now I was taking x to the third and dividing by x.
So x squared.
So this guy is an x squared, and this is an x, and that's just a number. So let's write them out. 2x squared, then what?
Plus x.
Plus x
Minus 5.
minus 5,
Yep.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to write the remainder if the remainder is 0. Now, let's say, suppose, oh wait, I'm going to ask you that in the next question. Is this guy a factor of this one?
Yes.
How do you know that?
Because no.
He has no remainder when I divide it, right? Like 2 is a factor of 32 because it has no remainder if I were to divide it, right? Okay, so no remainder means he is a factor. All right, this one says use synthetic substitution. Not synthetic division, but synthetic substitution. What does it mean to substitute?
So put something in front.
Plug a number in. If I'm dividing by x plus 2, I'm going to, x plus 2 equals 0, so x equals -2. I'm going to plug -2 in. How do I know whether he's a factor or not?
If it equals 0.
Yeah, he has to come out to be 0, which means my remainder would be 0. All right? So I'm going to plug -2 in
How would you know if we did synthetic?
because I'm going to look and see. You bet.
What if I use my calculator? Can I write it out like that? Prove that I did it that way?
Yes, that's fine. And then you can plug it into your calculator all if you want.
I
Okay?
did it. I found out
All right.
the answer.
-2 to the third power is -8. -8 times 2 is -16. -2 squared is 4 times -3 is -12. Are you with me?
Yes.
Then 4 and -2 makes -8 plus 5.
No.
This is -28. Minus another 8 is -36. Plus 5 is -31. Is that the correct answer?
It's a no. Yeah, it's a no.
Yeah, so -31 is what I get when I plug it in. So is that thing a factor?
No, it's a no.
No, because he has a remainder. Yes?
C.
Not a factor. Good? He has a remainder. I will check to make sure you did it the way I wanted you to do it. Substitution. Okay?
This next one's the easiest one now.
All right, next. 37. Write a polynomial function that has a 0, a 5, and negative 2.
Write the simplest.
Okay? The simplest one. Now, technically, so Lauren, technically, if he has a 0 that's 5 and a 0 that's negative 2 and a 0 that's also 3, he would still have zeros of 5 and negative 2. So that's another polynomial that would have 5 and 2 and negative 2 as its zeros. But they want the simplest one, which means these are my only zeros. Does that make sense? Like if he has additional zeros, he still has those as zeros, and that would still count as a problem. Okay?
What?
Can I explain that again?
Why can't you just do x minus 5x plus
So, here you go, Trevin. It says write the simplest polynomial function that has zeros that are 5 and negative 2. Technically, Trevin, if he has a 0, let's say at 3, he also has zeros at 5 and negative 2 and 3, right? So I could write a x to the third power function, right? But that wouldn't be the simplest one because I only care about these two. The simplest polynomial function only has 5 and negative 2 as its zeros, right?
Oh, it's
Yeah,
x
yeah.
squared to 3.
Okay.
X squared plus 3x.
So if 5 is a 0, what does he look like in the bubble? X minus 5. If negative 2 is a 0, x plus 2. And then what do I do? FOIL. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. And negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Okay? Can we combine like terms? Sure we can. X squared minus 3x minus 10. Done? You betcha. Perfect. Okay? Wonderful, wonderful. All right, next problem. We've got 3 left, right? 3 is all? Okay, given that this guy is a factor of this thing, I know he's a factor. I know he goes in there perfectly. I know his remainder would be 0 if I would divide it, right? I want to find the remaining factors. How many factors should this thing have total? 3. And I have one of them, so I need to find 2 more. How do I find what the other 2 are? Yeah, let's divide him out and see what's left over, right? So let's divide him. Whoop. And what number goes in the outside? If I'm dividing by x plus 9. Negative 9, okay. And then I have, what are my numbers up top?
1, 14, 30.
These are ugly numbers. 31, negative 120. Are we sure 9 goes in there perfectly? Those are some ugly numbers. All right. First step, drop down the 1. Negative 9 times 1 is negative 9. Add this together. 5, okay? Now what? Negative 9 times 5 is negative 45. Okay, add? Negative 14. What's negative 9 and negative 14?
126.
I'm really hoping it's 126 because then my remainder is
126.
0, right? Okay? Okay, now. I was taking x cubed and dividing by x, right? So this first guy is x squared. This guy is x, and that's a number. All right, so I have x squared plus 5x minus 14 left over, yeah? Okay, now what do I do with that?
Make it a
He is a what? He's a simple trinomial. So I want to multiply to get 14 and add them to get 5. Okay? X plus 7, x minus 2. Does that work? Okay? So, what is it asking for? The remaining factors. Are these factors?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, those are my 2 pieces. What's my third one? X plus 9. I'm done. You don't have to set those equal to 0. If it asked for like the remaining zeros, then you would set them equal to 0 and your answers would be negative 7 and positive 2. But the remaining factors means just those guys. Okay?
Okay.
Good? Happy with that?
Yeah.
Simple trinomial. Simple trinomial. That's one of the factoring methods. You ask. It's fine. Yep. If you ever have a question, shout it out. I'm not going
The
to.
easiest one in history.
What?
The next one's the easiest one.
The next one's the easiest one? Are you sure?
Yeah, because all you have to do is multi-foil.
Okay, what does it mean to be an identity?
It's the same thing.
The same thing on both sides. I can't do anything with this guy, right? But here's my equal sign, so I've got to like figure this thing out and see if it's the same, right?
It's yes.
Couldn't you
and
just
then-
Okay.
try cubes for that?
Can I what?
Like some cubes, like
You could. So Trevin said, could I use the sum of cubes to break this guy down and see if it matches this?
But no one wants-
Yeah, you can. You
no
can.
one
You
wants
certainly
to do
can.
that.
Yeah, that would be fine.
But no one knows
Uh,
the formula.
Yeah, we don't have the formula written down. So, I mean, if you wanted to, you could. Yeah, that'd be fine. Okay, so let's multiply 2w times 4w squared is 8w to the third. Okay, 2w times negative 6wz. That is disgusting.
Negative 12w squared z.
Yep. Okay, now 2w times 9z squared.
18wz squared.
WZ squared. Okay, now I'm going to start with the 3z. 3z times 4w squared.
12w squared z.
W squared z. Okay, 3z times negative 6wz.
Minus 18wz squared.
18wz squared. There's two z's. Okay,
Plus
3z times 9z squared is
plus 27z.
blah. Look at all that mess.
So then they
And
cancel
y'all
in the middle and
most
it's
of
gone.
it cancels out, so yes.
Okay, 8w to the third power. He doesn't go with anybody. Negative 12w squared z and plus 12w squared z. Cancel. 18wz squared minus 18wz squared. Cancel, cancel. And then plus 27z to the third power. Is that what we had?
Yes.
You betcha. So what's the answer?
Yes.
Yes. If you put yes and don't show your work, I will count it wrong, even if it's right.
X plus
So show me a little work. What?
If we write identity instead of
No. You have to show work.
Isn't
For
the
sure.
next one
No,
X
like,
squared
can you
minus
write
100?
identity?
Yes. You can put identity instead of yes, right? But you need to show work also with that, okay? Because, like, if you put identity, I could just be like, well, they probably guessed and 50-50 chance of getting it right? You know, you have to show me why you know that. Okay, this is the last problem. Yay! And this one is very similar to number 37. These two are kind of related to each other, right? Write a polynomial that could be the following graph. Where are this guy's zeros located?
Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3.
Negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, yeah? So my zeros, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1. Yeah, those are my zeros. I found that from the graph where he crosses, right? So if I then work backwards and I say, what are my bubbles? If negative 3 is a 0,
X plus 3,
X plus 3?
2, X plus 1.
yeah. And then I FOIL them all out. Okay, now, hold up. Wait a second. Look at this. I legit have had algebra kids try to do this before. They're like, x times x times x is x cubed, and 3 times 2 times 1 is 6. There you go. Done.
No.
I wish it were that easy, right?
That's
I would
two of the
love it.
That's 2 of the pieces.
I would love it. Okay, but that's not true. So we have to deal with 2 at a time, and we have to FOIL these out. Okay? So x times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x, yeah? 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, now what do I do?
You take the x times 1 times.
I'm going to first, before I do that,
Add the
Oh.
thingies.
yeah, put together these like terms. What's 2x and 3x?
I did that.
5x.
5x plus 6, and then what? Now I FOIL the x plus 1. Got it? Okay? So x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times 1 is 1x squared. Okay? 5x times x is 5x squared. 5x times 1
5x.
is 5x. 6 times x,
6x.
6x. 6 times 1,
6.
6. That's all my FOIL stuff. Okay? Good? Am I going too fast? Yeah? No?
So I messed
Okay.
it up, but got the right answer.
All right. X cubed.
Plus
1x squared plus 5x squared is 6x squared. 5x, 6x is 11x plus 6. Done.
Okay.
Okay, out of all 40 of those, did you have any ones that you needed to go over again that you had questions on?
No.
If you want to ask me individually, we still have like 20 minutes left of class.
When does basketball?
Yeah? Basketball, it's just at, what time?
We're leaving later now because James got things.
Yeah, I asked
Oh,
Mr.
gotcha.
Coffey,
So
he
could
said
me
we
and
might not
Jace
even
go
go
to the FCS
If
room?
we do, it's gonna be like
Mrs.
5
Call
minutes.
mature.
Cool, okay. Yes, go.
Just to go.
Yes, you can go.
Can I
Okay?
take my
If you guys have questions between now and then, please come ask me.
2:30.
Okay, 2:30, cool. So you can still have like 20 minutes left. Okay?
Mom here?
Got it?
Can I
Yes.
take my
Give me a second and I'll get it for you. Okay? All right. Goodbye, people watching this video.